You know the one. For a lot of smokers, it's the perfect ending. That moment of calm after intimacy, and then that slow exhale of a cigarette. It's such a powerful ritual, it almost feels necessary, right? Well, today we're going to untangle that whole thing, the myth from the reality. And it all starts with one big question.
This is the heart of it, isn't it? If you've ever been a smoker in this situation, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not just some little craving. It's this deep, almost primal feeling that the moment isn't really finished without it. So where does that incredibly powerful feeling actually come from?
Sensual, cinematic, satisfying. Yeah, these are the words people use to describe it. It feels like something straight out of an old movie, a ritual that's so ingrained, it just fits. It feels completely real. But what if I told you that whole feeling is just a really, really well-made illusion?
Okay, so let's get into the psychology of this. The very first thing we have to get our heads around is that this powerful urge, it's not a real need. Your body isn't actually asking for it. Your mind is. What we're dealing with here is a habit, a deeply ingrained, perfectly conditioned psychological loop. And here's exactly how that loop works. Just look at this. It kicks off with a cue. Intimacy ends. Your body's relaxed. That cue immediately triggers a craving, that automatic little thought that pops in your head. A cigarette would be perfect right now. The response is practically unconscious. You just light up. And then comes the most important part, the reward. It's this feeling of extra calm, of completion. This whole cycle just runs on autopilot, which is exactly why the urge feels so powerful, so inevitable. So, if it's a conditioned loop, that kind of begs the question, who did the conditioning? Because an association this strong doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. It was built. It was deliberately manufactured and sold to us for decades.
And that's the key insight, right there. This connection wasn't discovered, it was built. It was engineered through movies, ads, and all sorts of cultural images until it just felt like a natural part of life.
Seriously, just think about it for a second. How many times have you seen that exact scene in a movie? The two lovers, tangled sheets, and then one of them lights up. That one image repeated over and over again, mixed with ads linking smoking to being seductive and sophisticated, well, it forged a connection so deep in our collective brain that we don't even see it happening.
The advertising formula they used was just brutally effective. Look at these steps. First, you start with something primal, sex. Then you connect it to the feeling of pleasure. Now, step 3 is where the trick happens. You slide the cigarette in as if it's a crucial part of that pleasure. And finally, you link it all to a desirable identity. You know, the cool, sophisticated person who really gets pleasure. And this was the insidious message at the end of the day. It wasn't just, buy our product. No. It was, only people who smoke know real pleasure. It was designed to make you feel like you were missing something, to convince you that your own experience was somehow incomplete without them. Psychologically, it was brilliant, and it worked on millions. Okay, so that's the manufactured myth. Now let's stack that up against the biological truth. Let's forget the movies, forget the ads for a second, and look at what is actually going on inside your body in that exact moment of calm.
Well, it turns out your body is already creating its own perfect high. After intimacy, you are literally flooded with this incredible natural cocktail of chemicals. You've got high levels of dopamine, which is all about pleasure. You've got oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Your stress hormone, cortisol, it takes a nosedive. Your whole system shifts into what's called a parasympathetic state. That's literally rest and digest mode. It's pure natural bliss.
And this might be the most important point in this whole explainer. Your body had already done all the work. It had already created a state of peak calm and peak pleasure all by itself. The cigarette isn't adding anything to the party. It's just showing up late and trying to take credit.
So here it is, side by side. The illusion that the cigarette adds some kind of extra satisfaction. But the truth? It's just a drug ending the discomfort of withdrawal. And actually, it's worse than that. By introducing a stimulant, you're actually interrupting that beautiful natural state of rest that your body worked so hard to create.
Oh, I love this quote from the source material because it just nails it. The body achieves this natural release of tension all on its own. The cigarette is just a chemical hijacker that swoops in and takes all the credit for the feeling of peace that was already there.
Okay, so we've pulled the curtain back on the myth, we've exposed the loop. The question now is, what do we do about it? How do we break it? How do we reclaim that moment for ourselves and find a new, true ending? The solution that's proposed is so So simple. But it's also kind of profound. What if, just for one time, you did nothing? Instead of automatically reaching for that cigarette, what if you just stayed in the moment and let it finish on its own terms?
Think of it as a little experiment, just for one time. Instead of lighting up, just lie still, focus on your breathing for a second. Feel your heartbeat start to soften and slow down, and just notice. Just pay attention to what it feels like as your body finds its own natural completion.
And when you do this, you're going to notice some pretty incredible things. You'll feel that the calm is already there, no smoke required. You'll realize the moment is already whole. That craving might bubble up, that's just the old habit loop talking, but then you'll actually feel it fade away on its own. And in that quiet space, you'll get it. You'll understand the most important truth. Nothing was ever missing in the first place.
And that's when the whole story just flips. You realize the cigarette was never the satisfying conclusion. That was the fake ending, a chemical interruption. The true ending was the pleasure that was there the whole time, created by and belonging completely to your own body.
And this is the ultimate realization, isn't it? Reclaiming this moment isn't just about quitting a habit. It's about taking back ownership of your own body, your own pleasure. It's about understanding that the peace and satisfaction you thought came from a cigarette was never its gift to give. It was always and only yours.